Welcome back to The Art of Hobbiness. I'm Erin, joined by my lovely co-host Tam.
Hi!
So excited to be back again, and we are going to talk about one of Tam's new hobbies.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to dive into what you've been doing, coloring.
Yes, adult coloring.
Adult coloring.
And so there's an adult level to it, so it's adult coloring.
Absolutely.
It's much more mature.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about why you started coloring, or is this something you've always done?
No.
No,
so adult coloring. Okay, so for those that are listening to our show, I think you've kind of caught on that I'm kind of in this trend right now where I'm trying to go back to my childhood a little bit and trying to pull from those old skill sets and successfully so far have been very happy to be doing so. Lots of joy, lots of excitement. So I was trying to watch my kids for suggestions on areas of where I could try to pull from the dark archives of Tamara's brain, right? And my children didn't disappoint. It was a week where we're working towards spring break, so there's a lot of downtime at school right now because the teachers are just trying to get to the spring break. And so my kids are bringing home coloring stuff as gifts every day. And I was like, well, coloring is like the child's way of gift giving, right?
Sure.
I mean, they bring them home for you.
That's so true.
You check their folder. They've got ones from their friends.
Yes.
Who started that?
I don't know.
Did we teach them that? Or did the kids start that?
That's a good question, because now that you say that, like, my kids do that and they're little. I mean, 5 and 3. And Roman has been doing that very recently, and I did not teach him that. And really up until recently, I didn't think he was very much into coloring, and all of a sudden he started doing this with his friends, exactly what you're talking about, very unprompted. Like, his friends started sending home stuff, and then he started sending stuff back. So that's a good question. I don't know where it comes from.
Right? I can't tell if it's the chicken or the egg.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to figure it out without making my kids overthink it or without me overthinking it. I've just been trying to... based off my current observation of just trying to just observe my own children, it just seems like it's just a natural progression in a child's development to put the colors together in a meaningful way and give it to you as a thoughtful gift, because that's the most easily accessible thing that they have.
It's a way
to
they
them.
can be creative and express themselves, and maybe they don't necessarily have the words to show it yet, or like my kids can't really read or write yet, not fully. So like drawing pictures and things is a really great way for them to just share that with their friends.
Absolutely, and they're like, and they're so proud of their work, Erin. Like, it doesn't matter what they're presenting you.
Definitely,
There's been times where my youngest comes home with literally what looks like she found a scrap of paper on the ground. She drew a doodle on it and was like, I've got this for you.
Yes.
They come in all shapes and sizes.
Yes.
So I was like, well, okay, let me try that. Let me try coloring a picture and presenting it to somebody as a gift.
Now, are you doing pre-printed pages, or are you drawing your own things and coloring them?
So I tried to go about it two ways.
Okay.
It's a great question. So I started with trying to draw.
Didn't go so well.
Erin, I can't draw.
I can't draw either. I'm terrible drawer. Yeah.
And the more I tried to do it, the more I was like, this seems more like a later Tam hobby journey.
Yeah.
We'll come back to this one. I just wasn't ready to humble myself that much yet. So I switched to coloring, which, adult coloring has been a thing for a while, right?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't a new
Definitely.
idea.
It's like an anxiety reducing, like coloring books. I feel like that was a trend for a while to have adult coloring books. Yes.
And they've shown the studies that it's actually really beneficial, right? So it's not like I came up with this totally brilliant idea that no one thought of coloring. It's just a new... It's something that I remember when it was trendy, I did try to do myself, and I was like, I don't like this at all. Yeah. So me trying to go back to it this time, I was like, well, maybe I'll have a different perspective, like a different lens that I'm looking at it from, know? So I tried to be a little bit more experimental, because I know when I initially tried to do this back when it was a trend, I just picked up a coloring book. Yeah. And then I think I picked up Crayola markers. Yeah. Okay. I can tell you with certainty, my daughters have figured out what is the elite version of coloring versus what that is. Because even my own kids don't even use Crayolas anymore. They've got these like craft markers that they use. And then they have these coloring books that they prefer that's not like like a coloring book like what we remember as kids, where like the paper was like tissue paper essentially.
Yeah.
It's like it's a denser, like more absorbing paper, and it really does like color is bold on there, and the markers that they have, it's like two ends, and one end's like a pointed, like a shorter, smaller end, and the other one's more like a broader end. Initially, I was trying with the smaller end for like detail oriented stuff, and I hated it. Like I didn't like the sound of the paper. I didn't like how long it took me to like color something. I was like, I'll never finish this page, like ever. But when I switched to the broader side, Erin,
that did it for you.
That's when things got exciting for me. I want to hold a pen or like a marker like I'm like a 2-year-old. Like I don't want to have an angle. I want to just like straight
Scribble.
up and down it.
Get your anger out on the paper.
I just want to drag that marker on that pen or on that paper. And I found like through trial and error there a little bit of a preferred coloring method. But where I took it the extra step to kind of make it more of like a channeling my inner child thing is I tried coloring pictures to give to people. So I made one for you.
Oh, wow. That's so nice.
So, Erin, I colored you a picture, Erin.
It is a Dia dos Morte, I don't know how you say that, skull with mushrooms and a flower, and it's beautiful. Thanks, Tim. I love the bold colors.
Yeah, are you going to hang that up on your fridge?
I'll frame it.
I'm going to need you to frame it.
Yeah.
So let me tell you how this is going.
Who else have you given these pictures to?
So I've made a couple for a couple of folks. It's been it kind of went exactly like how this went. I'm very awkward. And I don't know how to present a picture that I colored for somebody without feeling so silly. It's I have a whole new perspective for my daughters and their bravery of taking a shot and just making something for somebody and giving it to me. Because I know, and you've probably been in the same place where your kids have like come home for like the 18th day in a row with one of these pictures and you're like, another one, thank you. And then you want to go hang it somewhere, but you've run out of places to hang it because your kids brought so many of them home. So then you try to throw one away, but then the kid finds it in the trash and they're like, why? So I feel like essentially what I just did to you, Erin, is I put you in a position in which you have to decide what you're going to do with this coloring page that your best friend just presented to you. Because if I find it in the trash can, Erin,
that's hilarious.
I'm going to cry.
I'm going to keep it, Tam. I'm going to keep it.
I don't know. Coloring's fun.
Yeah.
Coloring's cute.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like I have found a newfound love for it after I first attempted it with the original trend of it. I would say not so sure that I'm going to do the
Well, I think like giving it to
people
is an interesting take on it. I wouldn't have even considered to go there, but I think, it's an interesting experiment as an adult. But it doesn't probably translate as well.
It does
for
not
children.
translate. I personally, I can't say totally because I feel that I can think of one person that comes to mind that when I presented them a picture, they were like, this is beautiful.
Oh, really?
But I must also note that person is my father-in-law. So it's basically still a child presenting a picture to a parent. So I feel that if we take it based off of that and based off of our own children, that it really only works if it's a child to parent ratio.
That makes sense.
I think
elder to younger person. What about on aside from that, do you find it relaxing? Is there other benefits when you are coloring that you enjoy? Enjoy about just the actual act of coloring?
I do feel, like I said, now that I've explored the broader stroke realm, I do think I actually really like it. Honestly, Erin, I had a really rough week last week, and I just felt like there were just a lot of areas in my life where I think for the first time since we started the podcast, where it was just like things just were like just popping up, like going in the wrong direction. Like it wasn't like, I feel like the trajectory has been like going up and up and up, and I've been going like, man, I'm really like progressing and doing, making successful steps and making right choices. And then for whatever, last week was just one of those times where it just felt like, man, everything was just hitting a roadblock and just being so much more difficult. And I was really being hard on myself about that because I don't know, I guess I felt like it meant something. And like maybe like, I don't know, I guess I just was putting myself down because it was just like, man, after a year of being so great in all this and like, hobbies are solving my problems. Yeah. I was like, where are my hobbies not solving my problems right now? And, I think it just kind of made me take a step back and kind of reflect a little bit about the fact that like, hobbies are not only just great for the highs, but also great for the lows. Because like coloring is not one that I've been working on this whole time, right? It was just kind of one that I picked up. And honestly, I picked it up when I was already kind of trajectorying into like a more negative route. And I feel like, when you color, you're trying to aim for the lines, right? Like you're trying to stay in the lines. And when you're using the broader stroke, you don't stay in the lines like you should.
That feel good?
It did. And it kind of made me just feel a little bit more like it was meditative, but it also kind of like when I would get out of the lines, like I would really try to like think about that and be like, like I, as much as I want to, like I can try to put a line in my life, right? I can try to make this like structure of like, this is how everything is going to go and this is how everything is going to be. And it's going to work out perfectly for the podcast, right? And I want it to, but like, I think I also need to be very aware of the fact that like sometimes we're just going to go out of the line and sometimes things are just going to be just, off. But I think what helped me in this is like, the fact that we have been like consistently, like pushing ourselves out of our boundaries, right? And trying to learn new things. And over this year, by trying all these new hobbies, I've been practicing being really bad at things and pulling myself out of that, right? And so like I just kind of had to like, while I was in those meditative states of coloring and see myself go those lines, I'm like, that's just like what's going on right now. Like it's just a step out of my line and I just get back into the line and just, try to stay positive during those things or try to reflect on those times as opposed to, just trying to just move on and pretend like it's not happening, And I do feel like that, I feel like coloring really was like really nice for that. And I do feel like it's something that kind of jumped out of nowhere, honestly. Like I had no intent for coloring to really be in my near hobby future.
I think it's just a testament to how hobbies can have, like what you're saying, pull you out. It's not even pull you out of a depression or anything or a negative headspace, but it just helps just get your head in a different place, or so you're not focusing so much on it, right? I actually saw a recent quote recently. I think I shared this with you, but this is perfect. About from Reese Witherspoon. It was like, get out of your head and get into your hands anytime you're feeling down, and or like having some negative feelings. And I thought that's like perfect.
Honestly,
that's
Erin, that's a perfect quote for this because that's exactly what I did. I was beating myself up for feeling like, why am I in this headspace? I shouldn't be in this headspace, right? Theoretically, everything should be going right. And once I got the marker in my hands and started coloring and started looking at me, like I said, going on the lines and just analyzing it, I almost kind of used it to kind of like use that time to talk to myself and work through the feelings. Whereas, a year ago, I would have probably just kept trying to push through the emotions and like squash them down so that I never really had to deal with them. So I think it was a really good hobby for me to pick up at the time that I picked it up, because I think it really just gave me a chance to self-reflect and kind of, try to just figure out that it's okay to go out of the line sometimes. Definitely. And we can try our best to have that plan, but sometimes it sounds
like it was like the perfect hobby for what you needed. Like
it really
this
was.
right now.
Yeah. I just feel bad gifting all of those
well,
depression coloring pages to people.
The nice thing is with coloring is you can kind of pick it up anytime, anywhere, and there's no rules, not really.
No. And
maybe
me, I always do my hobbies with the girls next to me, so they're joined. Right. So it was a great one for me to have with my kids nearby, and they would see me color, and then they would come join me in color. So it was.
I have found that because my boys have gotten more into coloring, and if they're like acting crazy, I found that if I sit down and get out coloring stuff and I start coloring, they'll come join me too, and it kind of like helps reset things a little bit.
That's really clever, Aaron.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because it's different. It's not something that, because they're not like artsy boys that sit down and do that much. So maybe it's just a little hiccup in their day, and they're like, hey, like slows them down a little bit, I guess. So, there's a lot of uses for it.
That's amazing. Actually, that's really clever. What a great idea to like redirect. Like them seeing you doing something creative makes them be like, oh, wait, what's mom doing?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, a little bit.
Good job, Aaron. You're so clever.
No, it's not about me, Tam. It's not yours. But anyways, well, that's awesome. I'm glad you had a generally positive experience. And thank you for the coloring page.
Oh, yeah. If it's not on your fridge, Aaron, if this is like sourdough baby where it just disappears one day.
It's going in the back of the fridge and it's going to start molding.
I love how it always comes back to sourdough baby.
Oh, gosh. Starter baby. So, well, hope you enjoyed this topic about coloring. And if you haven't tried coloring as an adult, sounds like something really great for beginner hobbyists.
Try broad stroke.
Yeah. If you just need something really simple and easy to start, if you need to get yourself going, try it. Try coloring.
Yes, do it.
Follow us on socials, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Art of Happiness. Be sure to leave a review and rating. And for a little extra Aaron and Tam fun, be sure to follow us on Instagram and Pinterest for behind-the-scenes footage of our journey to find happiness.